GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action. Live from the GMNA News Center, this is the Lunch Break News Hour.
Good afternoon, Toronto. I'm Jordan Parker. Tonight we'll unpack the alarming weapon assault on a TTC bus driver at Wilson Station and check in on the overnight fire that left 2 women injured in North York. Traffic's moving with only minor delays, and the Summer Music Festival kicks off at Corktown. Over to you, Nathan.
The Toronto Summer Music Festival kicks off this Saturday, presenting 3 days of outdoor concerts across Harbourfront Centre, featuring indie, jazz, and world music acts.
All performances are free to the public, and the festival offers a family-friendly schedule with designated kids zones and food trucks operating near each stage.
Over 50 local and international artists will appear, supported by more than 300 volunteers who help implement the festival's zero-waste initiatives throughout the venues.
Tickets aren't required, but you can reserve a spot via the festival app. Lots to get to, let's begin. Good morning, Toronto.
Yesterday, the NBA put a hold on the trade that would have sent Kawhi Leonard back to the Toronto Raptors. The league said it is reviewing a possible salary cap breach by the Los Angeles Clippers, whose contract filings are under scrutiny. If the investigation finds a violation, the Clippers could be forced to rescind the deal, and Leonard might miss the upcoming season entirely. The move would have reunited Leonard with the franchise that won the championship in 2012, a storyline that excited fans across the city. League officials have not released a timeline for their decision, but they indicated the probe will continue through the off-season. The Raptors' front office said they remain committed to building a competitive roster, while the Clippers await the outcome before finalizing any further transactions.
Work has begun on a major energy efficiency retrofit at the 59-year-old 444 Logan Avenue apartment building. The project, kicking off early this morning, will install insulation, high-performance windows, and upgraded heating controls to keep more warmth inside the units. By sealing gaps and modernizing systems, the upgrade is expected to lower residents' utility costs and cut the building's carbon footprint. The retrofit is part of a growing push across the city to make older housing stock more sustainable without displacing tenants. Contractors say the work will proceed while occupants remain in place, with completion targeted for next year. City officials have highlighted the effort as a model for other pre-war structures that still house thousands of Torontonians. The initiative reflects broader municipal goals to reduce emissions and keep housing affordable.
Residents of National Street in the Cliffcrest neighborhood of Scarborough are sounding an alarm over what they describe as a relentless stream of parking tickets. Over the past weeks, drivers who stop briefly near their homes have reported receiving multiple citations, despite the street's notoriously tight parking supply. Community members say the limited number of legal spaces forces them to park in restricted zones, triggering fines that quickly accumulate. Local advocacy groups have begun documenting the frequency of tickets and are urging municipal officials to review enforcement practices and consider additional parking solutions. City Hall has not yet responded to requests for comment. The situation underscores the growing frustration among Scarborough residents who feel the current system disproportionately penalizes those living in an area already constrained by scarce parking options.
Quebec announced today that any driver holding an Ontario commercial license will now have to pass a provincial exam before they can operate a heavy vehicle on Quebec highways. The move follows a recent spate of multi-ton collisions involving Ontario-registered trucks that authorities say raised safety concerns. Officials from the Quebec Ministry of Transport said the requirement aims to ensure uniform qualification standards across the province's road network. Ontario's Auditor General has been asked to review the impact on cross-border freight, while trucking industry representatives warned of potential delays at the border. A veteran truck driving instructor in Montreal confirmed the exam will cover Quebec-specific road sign rules and load securement practices. The new rule takes effect immediately, and drivers who fail to comply could be denied entry to Quebec's major corridors province.
A fire erupted in a North York apartment building on July 9, prompting an immediate response from the Toronto Fire Department. The blaze forced senior residents from 18 units to evacuate the complex. 2 women were taken to hospital with smoke inhalation injuries. Fire crews contained the fire and conducted a thorough sweep of the building, ensuring no further occupants remained inside. All displaced seniors have been relocated to temporary shelters, while officials assess the damage and begin cleanup. The incident remains under investigation by fire officials. No additional injuries have been reported. The Toronto Fire Department continues to monitor the situation and coordinate with municipal authorities to support the affected residents. A fire erupted in a North York apartment building on July 9, prompting an immediate response from the Toronto Fire Department. The blaze forced senior residents from 18 units to evacuate the complex. 2 women were taken to hospital with smoke inhalation injuries. Firefighters arrived within minutes, using hoses to extinguish the blaze. Fire crews contained the fire and conducted a thorough sweep of the building, ensuring no further occupants remained inside. The evacuation was coordinated by fire officials, and seniors were gathered at a nearby community center for headcount. All displaced seniors have been relocated to temporary shelters, while officials assess the damage and begin cleanup. No additional injuries have been reported. The cause of the fire is under investigation, and officials will review the building's fire safety measures. The Toronto Fire Department continues to monitor the situation and coordinate with municipal authorities to support the affected residents.
Coming up, a yellow rain warning hits downtown and we'll break down what that means for your commute. Stay tuned, we will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Welcome back, I'm glad you're still with us. Let's dive into the headlines, and now Nathan Cole has the local stories you need to hear.
Environment Canada issued a yellow rain warning this afternoon, covering Etobicoke through downtown Toronto, after forecasts projected up to 50 millimeters of rain. The alert, released just after 3 p.m. on July 9th, warned that heavy precipitation could strain drainage systems and disrupt travel. Residents in the affected corridor were advised to allow extra time for commutes and to monitor local updates for any changes. The agency noted that while the warning remains at the yellow level, the volume of rain expected exceeds typical summer averages, raising the likelihood of localized flooding in low-lying streets. Officials reminded drivers that slick road surfaces and reduced visibility are common during such events, and that public transit may experience delays as water accumulates on tracks and platforms. The warning remains in effect until conditions improve.
Yesterday, a city bus driver was violently assaulted on a downtown route, leaving the employee with injuries that required medical attention. Police responded quickly, detaining a suspect who was later charged with assault with a weapon. The arrest took place near the intersection of Yonge and Bloor, and officers said the weapon was a metal object used during the attack. Transit officials confirmed the driver will be given time off to recover and that service disruptions were minimal. The incident adds to ongoing concerns about safety for transit workers across the city, prompting the Transit Authority to review security measures on its fleet. Police emphasized that anyone threatening the safety of drivers will face serious charges, reinforcing the message that assaults on public service staff will not be tolerated. Family members said they are grateful for the swift police action and hope the driver makes a full recovery.
An evening fire forced a brief shutdown of the TTC's Line 1 Yonge University between Union and St. George stations. Toronto Fire Services reported the blaze at 5:36 p.m. on July 9th, triggering an emergency response that halted all trains on the segment. By 6:40 p.m., crews had cleared the area and service was restored, meaning commuters faced roughly 1 hour of disruption during the evening rush. TTC officials confirmed that the fire was contained without injuries and that normal schedules resumed shortly after. The incident underscores the rapid coordination between transit operators and emergency responders, allowing the line to reopen quickly and keep riders moving. Passengers traveling between downtown's financial core and the University of Toronto campus can now rely on the restored service for the remainder of the night.
Yesterday, a TTC operator was assaulted at Wilson Station, leaving the employee with non-life-threatening injuries. TTC Chief Executive Mandeep Lally confirmed the attack, noting the incident disrupted service briefly while police and emergency crews responded. Witnesses described a sudden confrontation that escalated before station staff were able to intervene. The operator was transported to a nearby hospital for treatment and is expected to recover. TTC officials said they are reviewing security protocols at the station and will cooperate fully with law enforcement investigations. No arrests have been announced at this time, and the agency urged passengers to remain vigilant and report any suspicious activity while traveling the network. Commuters on the Western Line reported delays of several minutes as trains were held to allow investigators to secure the scene. The TTC reiterated its commitment to staff safety and said additional staff presence will be evaluated for high-traffic stations.
Yesterday, Toronto Pearson Airport issued a public warning after officials detected a surge in artificial intelligence-generated articles that falsely claim changes to flight schedules and operations. Airport spokesperson Sean Davidson said the bogus posts have been circulating on social media and messaging apps, causing confusion for passengers planning departures and arrivals. The airport urged travelers to rely only on official channels, such as the airline's website, the airport's mobile app, and on-site information displays, for up-to-date flight details. Davidson explained that the misinformation appears to be crafted by automated tools that mimic legitimate news formats, making it difficult for the average commuter to spot the deception. By alerting the public now, the airport hopes to reduce disruptions and ensure that Toronto flyers can make informed decisions without being misled by fabricated reports.
Now let's turn to the forecast and see what weather's in store for your afternoon.
A deepening low and a westerly jet are keeping Toronto's summer sky clear, but poised for change. On this date, the all-time high reached 32 degrees in 2005, a spike that arrived with a lingering heat wave that pushed temperatures well above the usual summer peak. The all-time low fell to 13 degrees in 2014, when an unusually cold Arctic surge slipped southward and blanketed the Great Lakes with ice-cold air. By contrast, the climatological average high sits around 22 degrees and the average low near 15, underscoring how today's readings sit comfortably between those extremes. The live radar screen is completely blank across southern Ontario, confirming a dry atmosphere from the lake shore to the hinterland. With near-average high pressure lingering and a modest westerly jet aloft, the air mass remains stable and no moisture is being lifted. The next band of disturbance won't arrive for another 12 to 15 hours, so Toronto stays clear as we move into the afternoon outlook. At noon, the city feels a mild 23 degrees under a crystal clear sky, humidity lingering near 87% and a light northeast breeze barely stirring the trees. The atmosphere is dominated by a near-average high-pressure system that is slowly easing lower, a sign that unsettled conditions could creep in later this week. Overhead, the jet stream races westward at roughly 119 kilometers per hour, slicing the mid-level flow and keeping any lingering moisture aloft. With a UV index of 8, the sun's intensity peaks mid-afternoon, while winds remain gentle at 10 kilometers per hour from the southeast. No weather alerts are in force, and no rain is expected through the evening. That stability gives way to a broader pattern as we look ahead to the next 5 days. Saturday opens with a bright day and a high near 26 degrees, dropping to 18 overnight. Sunday mirrors that pattern, another clear sky and a comfortable 26-degree maximum. Monday nudges the mercury to 28 degrees while the night remains mild at 18, still under a cloudless dome. Tuesday marks a sharp jump as the high climbs to 36 degrees, the lowest temperature holding at 21, and an overcast layer spreads across the region, hinting at lingering moisture. Wednesday follows with a high of 30 degrees and a night low of 23, the sky remaining overcast and the air feeling more humid. The week's progression shifts from a steady early week dry spell into a warmer, cloudier midweek, setting the stage for possible showers later. And that's your weather. Remember, the lunch break is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.
Traffic snarls near Fort York with FIFA Fan Festival, plus outdoor art fair buzz and a sports debate. Stay tuned, we will be right back.
Watch the local sunset tonight at 6 p.m. for all your local Montreal news.
Heavy traffic is choking Lake Shore Boulevard corridor around Fort York and the Bentway as the FIFA Fan Festival draws crowds. Expect delays of 15 minutes or more on Lake Shore. Bayview Avenue stays closed between Rosedale Valley Road and Lauren Harris Square until 7 p.m. All internal streets of High Park are shut to vehicles this evening. Use Gardner. St. Clair Avenue West remains blocked from Christie Street to Winona Drive for TD Salsa Festival, and Lawrence Avenue East is closed between Warden Avenue and Birchmont Road for Taste of Lawrence event. On the subway, Line 1 service is suspended between Lawrence and St. Clair stations, while Line 2 will run limited service between St. George and Broadview starting at noon. TTC changes include the 311 Bathurst Night streetcar replacing the 307 bus, the 509 Harborfront terminating at Fleet and Strachan, the 510 Spadina suspended, and an 829 Dufferin special added. Expect crowding on TTC and GO trains near festival sites this afternoon.
Toronto International Film Festival kicks off this week with the world premiere of Being Human, the opening night film at the TIFF venues. This biopic shines a light on disability activism, and it's the cultural moment you won't want to miss. Today, the Toronto Outdoor Art Fair bursts onto Nathan Phillips Square, turning the plaza into a living gallery of the city's most striking local talent, perfect for a quick lunch break stroll and a splash of color. Grab a coffee nearby and meet the artists as the city hums with creativity. The Polaris Music Prize nominees are being announced in Toronto, setting the stage for September's ceremony and giving you a first look at the country's next breakout artists. The nominees span indie rock, hip-hop, and experimental sounds, giving you a fresh summer playlist. Watch these stories as the week unfolds because Toronto's creative pulse is louder than ever. And now here's Marcus with sports.
Here's the latest sports headlines shaping Toronto's summer season for fans. Sportsnet's MLB Network segment featured Adnan Virk and Jesse Futch swaying Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s choice to skip the All-Star game. They also examined the Toronto Blue Jays' recent starting pitcher performances and highlighted Shane Bieber's swift return to the mound. The discussion remains open. In a Sportsnet NHL interview, Frank Saravalli and Ivanka Osmek dissected the Anaheim Ducks' decision to match Leo Carlsson's offer sheet, noting the franchise's delicate balance of cap space and future assets. They also touched on the resurgence of offer sheets and the Toronto Maple Leafs' off-season overhaul. NBA insider Mark Stein joined Sportsnet Central to analyze the recent delay in Kawhi Leonard's trade to the Toronto Raptors. He outlined the procedural hurdles and assessed how realistic a cancellation scenario appears, leaving fans awaiting further league clarification.
Supercom, right in the heart of downtown Toronto, is a fintech platform that lets Canadians instantly compare and pay for everyday services online. This week, the company closed a $65 million financing round led by TPG, catapulting its valuation to $1.2 billion. The fresh capital will fund new product features, expand the team, and push the service into new markets across the country. For the downtown tech corridor, Supercom's growth signals another heavyweight joining the ecosystem, drawing talent and investors to our streets. It's a reminder that homegrown innovation can thrive here, turning a local idea into a global contender and keeping Toronto on the cutting edge of digital finance. Up next, we celebrate Supercom's $1.2 billion valuation and $65 million boost fueling Toronto's tech boom for the city. Stay positive.
Coming up tonight at 6, the local sunset. Your neighborhood, your city, your news. From City Hall decisions to the stories happening right on your street, we cover what matters most to Montrealers. Join us tonight at 6 p.m. on gmna for the local Sunset, Montreal's evening newscast.
Toronto City Council just approved a protected bike lane on St. Clair Avenue, a move officials say will improve cyclist safety and push greener commuting in West End. The lane will thread between storefronts and traffic, giving riders space and slash accidents while encouraging residents to ditch the car. Carl Dumont is there. Carl Dumont.
Thanks, Jordan Parker. I'm standing on St. Clair Avenue, the late afternoon sun glinting off fresh concrete as crews finish laying the steel curb that will become the spine of a new protected bike lane. Just yesterday, Toronto City Council approved the project with a 31-2 vote, signaling strong municipal backing. To my left, a row of maple trees sways, their leaves rustling against the hum of traffic. Ahead, a temporary orange barricade marks the stretch from Keele Street to Bathurst Street, where workers are tightening the modular barriers that will separate cyclists from cars. I can hear the clink of metal and the chatter of a city planner explaining the lane's design, while a group of commuters on bicycles test the smooth surface, nodding at each other. Residents line the sidewalk, watching the transformation, hopeful that the new lane will finally give their kids a safe route to school. This lane isn't just pavement, it's a promise of greener, safer streets for the neighborhood. Carl Dumont virtually at St. Clair Avenue.
On a crisp Saturday morning at the bustling Yonge St. Clair Cineplex, a line of families stretched down the marble steps, their chatter mixing with the scent of buttered popcorn. Inside, the newly opened Toy Story 5 banner glowed above the marquee, drawing children in bright cowboy hats and parents clutching reusable coffee cups. Cineplex Canada's largest theater chain reported a jump in second quarter box office earnings to $55.8 million, up from $51.8 million a year ago, and the surge is rooted in the delight spilling out of that very lobby. One 8-year-old, clutching a Woody plush, told me his sister's first laugh in months came when the screen lit up with Buzz's new adventure. The staff, from ticket takers to concession clerks, shared in that excitement, swapping stories of repeat viewings and spontaneous sing-alongs. It isn't just numbers on a report, it's a community rediscovering the magic of a shared story, lifting spirits and supporting local jobs. Moments like these remind us why the simple joy of a film night matters to us all.
In the heart of downtown Toronto, just off Yonge Street, I'm here at the historic St. Lawrence Market, the bustle of shoppers and the scent of fresh baked goods reminding us why community matters. Across the greater Toronto area, a small town is writing its own chapter of togetherness. In Newmarket, Mayor Jane Thompson has named a Chief Positivity Officer, a role born out of the pandemic's quiet urgency. The new officer, longtime volunteer Maya Patel, will coordinate a network of 30-plus positivity ambassadors, neighbors chosen for their bright spirits, from a high school band teacher who leads lunchtime sing, alongs to a retired baker who leaves handwritten notes on doorsteps. One Saturday morning, Patel organized a pop-up, Hope Corner, at the town's central library, where children painted bright murals while seniors shared stories of resilience. The sight of a toddler's finger-painted sunrise alongside a veteran's laugh sparked a ripple of optimism that lingered long after the doors closed. It's a reminder that even in challenging times, a single act of kindness can lift an entire community. That spirit of shared hope is what keeps us moving forward.
Thanks for joining us, Toronto. Today's pause on the Kawhi Leonard trade reminded us how quickly the sports world can shift, and we hope you found the coverage helpful. I'm Jordan Parker, and we'll be back tomorrow with more stories that matter to our city. See you then.